just turned the clock off. What's going on with that? Live from Moore Gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University, it's time for another broadcast of Bethune-Cookman University Athletics right here on the CatEye Network. Today, the Wildcats return home after their first conference road trip of the season to take on the Jackson State Tigers. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company. Happy to have the company once again of Henson White. Henson, this is a major challenge today against a team that has won 2 of the last 3 SWAC championships and is undefeated in conference play right now.
Yeah, this Jackson State team has come in and just wrecked shop in the SWAC over the past couple of games. 5-0, as you said, no margin of victory under 20 points from these first 5 games. So it'll be an important test for the Wildcats, who have played pretty much the toughest schedule you can in the SWAC to start it out.
After the Florida A&M game, they played Grambling, Southern, and Arkansas Pine Bluff as 3 of their first 4 games. That is probably the top, and then Jackson State probably the top 4 in the SWAC right now, with the Wildcats looking to punch their way in. But it's going to be tough today for the Wildcats. They are severely undermanned.
Yeah. As we watched warm-ups today, we noticed the distinct both height advantage and the distinct numbers advantage for the Tigers coming into tonight's game. There's been a sort of an injury bug, for lack of a better term, for the Wildcats, down 2 players tonight.
And they're the 2 probably most important players on the team. Kayla Clark, the starting center, the junior from Miami, and Chanel Wilson, the leader in scoring on this team at 12.7 points a game, the graduate student transfer from Indiana and preseason All-SWAC first team. Wilson was injured in the UAPB game, only played 9 minutes in that game. Of course, the Wildcats did eventually hold on and win that game 73-70, but no Clark against the team in Jackson State that could potentially field a starting 5 of all players over 6 foot tall is a very difficult task.
Yep, 19 rebounds last time out for Kayla Clark. So she is our, anchor down there, and missing this game, especially against a team that is so good at rebounding in this Jackson State team, will be a tough struggle.
There are names up and down Jackson State that stand out to your Tilly Bowler, of course, all-SWAC first team, but I think it's got to be preseason defensive player of the year, graduate student Angel Jackson.
Yeah, Angel Jackson certainly has, all of the plaudits you can have for a women's basketball player. McDonald's All-American out of high school, leads the team in rebounds with 6.6 a game, ton of blocks as well, 40 blocks at this point in the season. She is a monster down low at 6'6". And, the Wildcats have Chanel McDonald at 6'2", but that's the tallest comp, really.
As they roll into pregame intros on the floor, it's time for us to roll into our first edition of the Southeast Toyota Dealers Keys to the Game. Henson, what do you got?
So the keys to the game for the women's game here is going to be the Tigers have a key of height advantage, a distinct amount of height in this team. As you said, they can field an entire starting 5 of players who are over 6 foot, and especially if the Wildcats are lacking Kayla Clark, you only have 1 6 foot, or 2 rather, with Nia Jordan, but she's a freshman who doesn't play much. So you really only have 1 tall option against that lineup. And for the Wildcats, their key to the game is who is going to pick up both offensively and defensively in Chanel Wilson and Kayla Clark's absence. Those are 2 humongous misses for the Wildcats offense. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a Deshante Edwards or Chanel McDonald step up to another level, even though Chanel McDonald has been playing at an all-SWAC level to start this season.
Those are your Southeast Toyota Dealers keys to the game. Visit your local Toyota dealers or explore Toyota.com today and take advantage of the deals on our full line of vehicles. Toyota, let's go places. We talk about all the injuries for the Wildcats. They do get Cariana Woods back. She did not play between the Florida International and Mississippi Valley State games. So missed 9 games with an injury, but she is back and could potentially be a key depth piece for Woods. Last year, really great steals, defensive player, on-ball defender, also gets you about 5 points a game.
Yeah, that is something that the Wildcats will surely like to have in their back pocket. As we've seen them play these top teams in the SWAC with a ton of depth. Grambling rotated a lot, Southern rotated a lot. So being able to rotate along with them, especially with a good on-ball defender, will be important towards the tail end of this season.
As you mentioned in the cold open, Henson, this Jackson State team is a defensive force. They lead the conference in points per game against, opponent field goal percentage, opponent three-point percentage, offensive rebounds per game, and rebounding margin. They're holding teams to under 60 points a game, and they have had a couple of big wins this season over Southeastern Louisiana, and then played a who's who of tough teams to start. UCF, Kansas State, Oregon State, Mississippi State, Miami, and Texas, and played all of those teams close, especially Miami. They only lost by 5.
Yeah. A lot of the SWAC teams that we've had, especially the tough ones, have played really tough schedules coming into our games with them and have done really well in those games. So it'll be a tough matchup here for the Wildcats.
And to add to the potential insult to injury, Kerrigan Dunn not playing at 100% today. She is suited up, but expect her to get limited minutes as well. Dorsey, of course, Dunn leads the team in steals and is top 5 in the SWAC in that category. But they are missing Kayla Clark. That's the big news story today, as well as Chanel Wilson, the two best players on this team out today against the top competition the SWAC has to offer. It will be a Herculean task for the Wildcats